Hamatora is a detective agency in Yokohama led by two minimum holders, Nice and Murasaki. Minimum holders are the people with special abilities known as minimum or small miracles. The agency operates from a table in Cafe Nowhere, and they wait for new clients to approach them for jobs. Suddenly, they start receiving job requests that seem to be connected to a serial killer that a police officer, Art, is searching for. The victims of the murders are all minimum holders, which draws the attention of Nice and Murasaki as fellow holders. However, the connection between them and the orchestrator of these events remains a mystery. Nice, a 17-year-old boy, and his friend Hajime visit a bank to collect his money. While he is attempting to withdraw his coins, a group of robbers try to rob the bank. However, Nice takes action and saves the day before the police arrive on the scene. He is one of the minimum holders, people who have special abilities. Nice and his friend Murasaki run a private detective agency known as Hamatora from Nowhere Cafe. Nice possesses a unique superpower that allows him to move through sound frequencies and create powerful sound waves. Meanwhile, Murasaki's ability involves hardening his body. However, there are certain requirements that must be met for each of their powers to activate. Specifically, Nice must wear his headphones, which he always carries with him, while Murasaki needs to remove his glasses. They receive two jobs from Koneko, the contract negotiator for their agency. The first job involves investigating the recent kidnappings of college girls, while the second is to protect a safe belonging to the Toyosaki millionaire family from thieves. Nice and Murasaki split the jobs. Meanwhile, two other minimum holders, PLS Birthday and Ratio, are assigned to protect a client named Azusa. With the help of a police officer named Art, Nice discovers that the kidnappers are targeting the girls for information and that all the cases must be connected. He contacts Birthday and Ratio for confirmation, but they are attacked by a gravity minimum holder who forces their client to reveal a code. Nice arrives and takes Azusa to the cafe, where she reveals that she learned the code by sleeping with the now deceased head of the Toyosaki family. He was in a relationship with many college girls, and Azusa was one of them. The kidnappers and thieves are revealed to be the same group who somehow knew about the head's relationships with college girls and his tendency to mumble secrets while sleeping. Nice, Ratio, and Birthday head to the Toyosaki mansion and successfully stop the thieves. Meanwhile, Murasaki was already at the mansion to protect the safe. He finds himself engaged in a fierce battle with the gravity minimum holder, who is effortlessly hurling heavy objects at him. However, Murasaki quickly removes his glasses and activates his hardening ability to shatter the incoming projectiles. At this moment, Nice arrives on the scene and utilizes his sound waves' power to swiftly defeat their adversaries. Finally, as the police apprehend the thieves, Art contemplates informing the duo of a serial murderer targeting minimum holders. A high school student named Theo asks for help from Nice and Murasaki to find his missing teacher, Yasuo Kitazawa, at Yokohama Bain High School. The duo agrees to investigate and makes their way to the school. During their search, Murasaki discovers a website that reveals Theo was bullied, and Kitazawa had helped him in the past. Later, Art summons the investigator duo and informs them that the high school teacher they were searching for has been found murdered in a burger restaurant. The inspector explains the serial murder case of minimum holders to Nice and Murasaki and reveals that they are being killed in a similar way, with their brains taken out. Art also informs them about an unsolved serial bombings case. Nice steals Kitazawa's phone from the crime scene and finds 6 photos of Theo's bullies, supposedly leaked on the internet. He informs Theo that they were actually 6 bullies and that Kitazawa was the leader of the ring. Nice reveals how he traced the IP address of the person who bullied Theo back to Kitazawa's home. He deduced that Kitazawa had been using his realism minimum to turn descriptions of the bullies' exploits into pictures and submitted them to the school board to enhance his own reputation. The Hamatora members then identified the places in the leaked photos to be the sites of recent serial bombings. They realize that only the high school is left to be bombed. Meanwhile, Theo witnesses his former bully, Kojima, attempting a bombing at the school. When Nice and Murasaki arrive, Kojima starts using his time acceleration minimum, but the duo intervene just in time to stop the bombing. During the encounter, Nice crosses paths with a white long-haired man. On the other hand, Art discovers that Kojima, the bully, and Gravity Holder, the kidnapper from before, have obtained their abilities artificially, which require the use of a minimum holder's brain. Somewhere in a tall building, the same person who crossed paths with Nice is shown admiring his collection of brains. Shoko Ito, a member of the Association of Health, Protection, and Equality of Youths, hires Hamatora to uncover a scandal at Facultas Academy. Meanwhile, Art comes to know about a huge supply of Nemcroid drugs from the association to the professor named Moral. He confronts Professor Moral, who is revealed as the same white long-haired man from before, about the association's supply of the drug. The professor reveals about his research on non-innate minimum holders. Moral reveals his interest in a world where everyone possesses minimum abilities. He then taunts Art for graduating from facultas without possessing a minimum ability. During a public association meeting, a large monstrous figure crashes in and reveals itself as Shoko's son, Takahiro, before fleeing. Art heads to the scene but fails to capture the monster. He gets a call from Moral, who implies that he gave Takahiro the minimum ability, but some people cannot handle it and they turn into monsters. Nice blames Takahiro's mother for his transformation, as she always treated him as a weak person for not being a minimum holder. But soon he realizes that he's being challenged. Nice confronts Takahiro for his attention seeking and defeats him by using his abilities. On the other hand, Moral deduces that Nice is the facultas classified top graduate genius. He then destroys his facility and escapes before being arrested. Ito's assistant severs ties with Moral's research, as they were the one financing the research for Takahiro's happiness. The professor then sets his sights on Nice, undeterred by his previous failures. Honey and 3, a pair of individuals possessing minimum abilities, successfully prevent an assassination attempt. Meanwhile, Hamatora lends their services to film a promotional video for the Yokohama Tourism Promotion Committee as part of a ploy to conceal Takahiro's violent actions. Honey's exceptional minimum ability allows her to predict events that will occur in the next 10 minutes using her specialized equipment. However, she mistakenly switches her briefcase containing her equipment with another that is filled with totem poles, while at the airport. On the other hand, Art investigates a series of attempted robberies committed by minors who have acquired guns via a threatening email that also predicts a potential rebellion. Meanwhile, a group of men kidnaps Honey due to the mix-up with their briefcase. Eventually, 3 manages to rescue Honey and uncovers the kidnapper's scheme to smuggle gun parts into the city. Later on, Nice manages to connect the gun case to a viral video created by Katsuragi Yuki, a good-looking man who calls himself a player, through the use of subliminal messaging at a frequency that only minors can hear. Katsuragi unknowingly provides minors an email address through which they can gain guns. They are then coerced to choose between attempting a robbery or taking part in an uprising. Unbeknownst to Nice, Moral is behind the manipulation, having granted Katsuragi the beauty minimum to enhance his appearance. Meanwhile, Honey successfully tracks down her briefcase from a smuggler and makes a startling discovery. The totem poles inside actually contain gun parts. Upon informing Art of her discovery, he asks Honey to predict the location of the planned rebellion. With the help of Hamatora, the police manage to thwart the insurrection just in time. Following this, Art and Nice investigate the murder of Katsuragi and his residence, during which Nice unintentionally connects himself to the mastermind behind the scheme, despite being unaware of Moral's involvement. Meanwhile, Moral is spotted giving his bloody jacket to a young person despite appearing to be chilly himself. Hajime is the lucky winner of a trip to the hot springs and decides to bring along Koneko and Honey. Meanwhile, Nice and Murasaki receive a new client who asks them to track down her boyfriend, Arata Hasuda, on suspicion of cheating. Nice agrees to take on the job after learning that they would be headed to the same hot springs as Hajime and her friends. Meanwhile, Art and his subordinate Gasket are in a superstore when they apprehend a thief. While Nice and Murasaki reach the hot springs, they unexpectedly encounter Ratio, Birthday, and 3, who have their own reasons for being there. However, their peaceful trip is soon disrupted when the inn is attacked by a group of thieves controlled by a minimum holder named Hasuda. The thieves make it clear that they are only interested in men, and as a result they allow all the women to escape unharmed. However, this does not sit well with Honey, who feels insulted by the criminals' dismissive behavior towards the girls. She urges her friends to stay and fight against the thieves. Hasuda has the ability to attract men with his suite, and his intention is to capture the crown prince of Abachahat. It is revealed that Ratio and Birthday were there to protect the same crown prince, while 3 had come for Honey. Hasuda's motivation stemmed from his deep admiration for his idol Seiji. Once a beloved pop star, Seiji had fallen from grace due to a series of scandals that had caused him to lose favor with the public. His fans' plan was to capture the crown prince of Abachahat and use him as a leverage to convince Japan to reinstate Seiji as a star, thus allowing him to reclaim his former glory. As Hajime becomes worried for her deluxe dinner, she takes matters into her own hands. Despite the ease with which Hajime dispatches the criminals, Hasuda manages to escape. As the policeman reach there, he feels guilty about all the men who are affected by his minimum and tries to attempt suicide, but it's saved by Hajime. Nice soon realizes that Hasuda is not a facultas graduate and has an artificial temptation minimum, prompting him to wonder who is really pulling strings behind this plot. Meanwhile, Gasket's true colors are revealed as he murders a man who had previously done research for Art. Professor Moral strikes again and another minimum is killed. It's revealed that Honey has knowledge of the professor's identity and confronts Art about why he's keeping this information from Nice. Gasket advises Art to take the day off, and he ends up meeting Nice in a graveyard. He questions Art about about his secrecy. Meanwhile, Ratio and Birthday question Misty, an illustrator, about the kidnapping of their friend Chiyu, who is a competitor of Misty. Unfortunately, they do not get any leads. Nice and Murasaki are hired for a job by the popular artist Torao, while Birthday is kidnapped by the same person who kidnapped Chiyu. The kidnapper demands that Misty be brought to a specific location in exchange for Birthday's life. Ratio locates the kidnapper by recognizing the sound of a parrot in the background of the phone call. As they make their way to the kidnapper's location, Ratio reminisces about his past and how he distanced himself from others due to his ability to predict people's deaths. He had predicted Birthday's death, but he miraculously survived a life-threatening surgery. When they finally locate the kidnapper, they discover that the mastermind behind the kidnappings is actually Chiyu's manager. He wanted to frame Ratio and Birthday for the kidnappings to become Misty's manager, as her art was more profitable. The manager also reveals that he possesses an artificial minimum and engages in a fight with Ratio. However, Birthday intervenes and together they force the kidnapper to escape. Nice and Murasaki arrive on the scene and capture the manager, who is handed over to the authorities. Nice has also discovered that the serial killer behind the killings is Moral, and he goes to confront the inspector. Just as he reaches Art, Moral takes on gasket form and enters a classified room. The end for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this recap, please consider to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to be notified of any new recaps. And while you're at it, check out this new anime recap appearing on the screen.